Back in the early 1970s, when me and my sister would go to Maineville, Ohio, Warren County, we go trick or treating with my cousins, Randy and Terry, and we would meet at my grandma's house. And for you locals, if you go to the red caution light and you back up, let's say you go from say Goshen to Maineville, and you back up, it's that yellow house that sits back here. If you go too far, you'll see a white house. But that yellow house that sits a little back here, that was my grandma's house, and we'd always meet there for trick or treat. This one particular Halloween night, it was pitch black. There was no moon at all. Now, for a while, me and my cousin Randy, we would walk with my sister and and his sister, cousin Terry. We'd walk a little, but finally, me and him wanted to go by ourselves. Now, for you locals, the fire department in Maineville, me and my cousin, now he was a little older. He's about 3 years older than me. Anyway, we would go back that far house. We would walk way past that. The far house in Maineville. We'd get a mile past that. Now, the town ordinance back in those days was if there's a porch light on, you could ring the bell and get candy. They was participating in Halloween. Anyway, that we got to an area where it was a little isolated, and there was this house by itself. Now, back in those days, in the early 1970s, you did there was no harm. You didn't worry about getting kidnapped. Halloween was safe in those days. We didn't worry about it. I mean, it was so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Sometimes I'd knock into him, and maybe he'd get in front of me walking, and I'd maybe be a little quicker walking. And you just couldn't see each other until you get into some lights of some houses. But this one house is a little isolated, and I don't want to go there, Randy. I said it's too creepy, too spooky. I refused him 3 or 4 times, and I finally gave in. We went up there. He rung the doorbell, and this old guy said from inside the house, he says, "What do you want?" It scared us to death. So trick or treat. Well, he opens the door, comes to the door and opens it, and he's holding his back. He's probably about 70 years old. He's holding his back. I'll never forget what he tells us. That quote, "I've been waiting for you all night. Where in the hell you been?" That scared us. Oh my God, is he going to murder us? Anyway, then he gets a little nicer. He says, "Hold on a second," and he walks. He must have had a long living room because he's gone a minute and a half, 2 minutes. My cousin Randy whispers to me and he says, "Where in the hell did he go?" I said, "I don't know." Well, I thought, well, maybe he's sneaking out of the house because me and my cousin Randy's the only ones there. Little isolated. Anyway, I thought maybe he would go around the house and maybe kidnap us. It didn't do no good. I looked behind me. It didn't do no good. It was so pitch black dark. If he'd been a half inch from ahead, I wouldn't have known it. We wouldn't have known it. Anyway, he finally's walking back toward the door. And what's creepy about it, he's carrying something. You can hear he now when he went back in after he talked to us. When he went back in to get what he's going to get, he closed that door halfway, so you couldn't see him. You could only hear him. He's carrying something. Sounded like he was heavy. My cousin says, "What's he bringing?" And my cousin says he might be bringing a shotgun and a bag full of shotgun shells. It sounded like he's having a little trouble carrying it. And when he finally gets his door, he opens it a little on the slow side because he's an old guy. And I started to run because you can't see him, you can only hear him, and you don't know what to expect. You don't know what you're going to see. He slowly opens that door. He's got a large, huge. Now in those days, it was brown paper grocery bags. They were paper brown. They were all paper and a thick paper. And he's got this tall grocery bag filled to the brim with candy. And some of the pieces of candy falls off onto the carpet. Well, me and my cousins, we got these tall ourselves. We got these, filled a little bit, not much, tall trick or treat bags. Ours have a rope. Ours have a little loop rope on it, so it makes it easy to carry. Anyway, I thought to myself, we've waited all this time, and he'll give us. Typical household gives you what, a handful of candy. I thought to myself, we've waited all this time, and he'll hand us a handful of candy. He didn't do that. No, he tells my cousin to raise his bag. He takes that huge grocery bag. He tilts it. I'm not mad. He tilts it and dumps the entire contents of candy into my cousin's bag. We're not talking about off-brand candy, people. We're talking about Snicker bars. We're talking about Reese cups, full bars. I mean, I bet it had to be $100 in candy. And then he dumps and fills my cousin Randy's bag completely full. Then he says, "I'll be back." And my cousin whispers to me, "I think you're next." He comes and he dumps every bit of that candy into my bag. Now he's got still so much. He gives me another bag and he fills it about a third full. Well, like I just said, for you locals, the fire department, we was way past that. Now, can't you just see us? I'm 11 years old. My cousin's 14. Now, back in those days, there was no smartphones to call your mom and come and get you. No, life was hard then. We had to carry, a bag full of candy, people, is heavy. We still had our mask on. We still had our costumes on. And it felt like a mile. We had to carry all that weight, me and my cousin, all the way back to my grandma's house. We was poured to sweat. Trick-or-treaters coming by us. Where did they get all that candy, Mom? Me and my cousin was laughing. We was in shock. Can you believe they gave us all this candy? Sweat just going down your face. I mean, it was heavy to carry all that. We oh, our arms were so tired when we got to Grandma's house. Now we would always, me and my sister, my cousin Randy, me and my cousin Randy, my sister and cousin Terry, we would all meet. Me and my cousin Randy would usually beat him back to the attic. We always met in his attic, long attic. And we'd go up there, and my sister and my cousin would finally come in from our trick or treating. We got up there with all that candy. Now, the average trick or treater probably gets what about every year, every Halloween, probably about a third bag of candy. Anyway, they come up. When they walked up the steps and they seen how much candy we had, they couldn't believe